Hey guys, I'm Marissa. Welcome back to my channel. I was going to sit down and film a whole budgeting video, but then I was like, you know what? I haven't done just like a sit down, hang out, chit chat Q&A kind of video. So I thought that I would do that today. We're answering some of your questions, just hanging out. So grab your coffee or get ready with me, whatever that is, and hang out while we answer some questions. Also, these questions were submitted on Instagram, so if you want to follow me there, you can follow me at Marissa Lyda. I'm on there daily on Instagram, so you can keep up in real time there and ask questions if you have any. First off, how do you deal with creeps/weird messages on social media? I definitely get a fair share of creepy or weird messages. And also honestly just some mean messages too. And as far as it goes with like creepy or weird things, I totally will block people. And Instagram also has this cool feature where you can choose to block someone and any other new accounts that they make. So love that feature. So I'll just automatically block people and not engage in that. What is the best way to track net worth? So your net worth is made up of your assets minus your liabilities, or the things that you own minus the things that you owe. And we track and update our net worth every month. I like to do this in my budget spreadsheet, which I have available for sale. You can check out. I will leave a link to that down in the description box below. And in that also includes a little net worth tracker at the end of each page. So I update that every month to see my net worth for the month. But I also really like to track this on Mint. I use Mint and it pulls all of my accounts, and that way it's really easy for me to update that in my budget spreadsheet every month. And so it's just like nice to see at a glance on Mint, but then I like to put that like hard keyed into my budget template at the end of the month so that I can go back and look to see like where I was how many months ago. What is your favorite part about being a mom? So I am a mom to my son Peter, who is 18 months. And man, there's so many awesome parts about being a mom. I mean, I don't think I can name just one, but the sweet snuggles and just the love that this little person has, I just like cannot get over. And the fact that he's mine is just like the sweetest thing. And I think like the most awesome thing is just being able to see him learn and grow and get big, and the fact that I get like a front row seat to that. And I feel like at this season that he's in, like the stage, he's learning something new every single day, whether that's a new word or a new action or something. Like, it's just crazy to watch him learn every day, and I'm glad that I get a front row seat in it all. So I love being a mom, and I love my sweet little boy Peter, but I feel like that's obvious. Your fave thing to splurge on? Okay, I feel like I don't splurge a whole lot on myself. Like, not in like a super big way. Like, I don't go regularly get my nails done. I don't go get my hair done besides like, twice a year for a semi-annual cut. But besides that, I guess like Starbucks, I like to go at least once a week, probably once or twice a week these days. And that's something that I just allow myself the permission to spend on. So you can totally splurge on fun things and just include it in your budget. So I'd probably say Starbucks is my fun splurge. Do you have high hopes that PJ outgrows his food allergies? So Peter James, my son Peter. So we found out that Peter had food allergies when he was 9 months old. I tested him with peanut butter, and I just had this feeling that there was something with peanut, because he would break out in like little rashes even when he was like 4 months old, like before we even like did solids. And I just felt like there was like maybe something there. I just like had this feeling. So when I actually fed him peanut for the first time, I put like a tiny little bit of peanut butter in his oatmeal. I gave him one bite and then paused, and within 2 minutes he then vomited and then instantly got hives. And it was pretty scary. We called the pediatrician. Peter was totally fine. We didn't have to take him to the hospital. He didn't have like anaphylactic shock or anything like that. It was something that we could resolve with just Benadryl, and thankfully like we called the nurse and she walked us through all of that. But after that scary moment with Peanut, we then went to an allergist and we did more testing and found out that he was also allergic to egg. So Peanut is more severe for him than egg, but we haven't had any other sort of reactions or accidental consumption of any of those ingredients since then, which is great. I'm really grateful for him, and we always keep our EpiPen with us and Benadryl on hand. It's just become a new way of life. And right now Peter isn't eating anything with peanut or egg, and for us that means anything that even has egg like baked into it. So I make a bunch of stuff for him from scratch, like muffins and pancakes and those kinds of things and others. And then we just avoid having him eat egg. So we go in for more testing with our allergist when he's around 2. So in just I guess in like 6 months, we'll go back for more testing and check his levels. And he'll also do a baked egg challenge where I will bring in like a kind of muffin with like egg baked into it, and we'll feed it to him at the doctor's office, like in that controlled environment, and see if he could tolerate it. So the doctor said that he has an 80% chance of outgrowing egg, a 20% chance of outgrowing peanut. I'm very hopeful with the egg, and also that at least he could get to the point where he could do like a baked egg kind of thing, because man, you don't realize that egg is in so many different things until now that we have a child with food allergies, and I'm always checking labels and shocked to find that egg is in like some random thing. So it would be great if we could do that and he could eat baked egg, and also then just not have to worry about that reaction. So I'm hopeful that egg would go away, but peanut may not, and I'm prepared for that. But our allergist is like really accredited and like wide known and everything for doing these different kinds of therapies, that Peter would hopefully eventually be able to get to the point where he could at least accidentally consume like a peanut and be totally fine. And there's different like levels that you could reach with these therapies. So I at least feel good about knowing that he isn't going to like have to worry about going into like anaphylactic shock with consuming a peanut. I think that we'll be able to work through that. So that's my update. Hopefully maybe I'll have another update for you in 6 months when we go for his next check and see how his levels are. I definitely am a little nervous of that when thinking of him like going to like school and eating lunch around other kids that like bring food in, and a little bit nervous about that. But hopefully by that time we can have more answers and work on some therapy with that if we need to. So I feel like that was a really long answer, but shout out to all the moms out there who have kids with food allergies. Neither Jacob nor I have a food allergy, so this is a whole new world to us, and we're just like trying to navigate it one day at a time. It gets easier, and I have high hopes that it'll get even better. This question says, since you use your credit card for purchases and pay at the end of the month, is it scary to not have money in your checking account? So we use our credit card for basically all purchases to be able to get the rewards associated with it, and we pay it off in full. There are times where we'll pay it off like multiple times during the month because I don't want that balance to get too high. But we account for all of this in our budget, and we only spend money on our credit card if we have the money in our checking account. And so I don't at all get worried about this. There have definitely been some months where our checking account ended up being like less than $100. And that is how a zero-based budget works. Like when you have a plan for every dollar, then you don't need to worry about like a major buffer because we had a plan for our finances. So I think the fact that we budget and we only spend money on our credit card when we have the cash available, and we only spend money on the credit card when we have it planned for in our budget, that we aren't worried when our checking account balance is low because of that. Do you have a tattoo, or would you ever get one? I do not have a tattoo, and I'm not against tattoos, but I personally just don't really care to have one. I don't know what I'd want to put on my body for the rest of my life, and I just have no desire to get a tattoo. So as of right now, I do not plan to get a tattoo, and I've never wanted one. Like high school, college, like none of that, never have had a desire. But I think it's cool to see what people's meanings of their tattoos are, and I have nothing against them, but just not for me personally. What is your favorite part of living in Portland? So if you've been following for a few months, then you know that we actually are planning to move out of Portland. I'm not sure when that'll be, but we don't see ourselves being here long term. But my husband and I both grew up in Portland. We went to school in Salem, which is where we met in college. And then we moved back to Greater Portland area when we got married, and now this is where we live. So I mean, I think the biggest thing for us personally is the family aspect. Like we both have our families really close, and that's especially nice with having a young child and with our family. So we definitely value the family aspect, and honestly, that's the thing that's keeping us here. Otherwise, I think we would have been moved by now. But the other things that I like generally about Portland is the beauty here, like the evergreens everywhere and the rolling hills, and you are 2 hours from the mountain and the coast. There's just a lot of beauty here in the Pacific Northwest, and I definitely don't take that for granted. We went and visited Dallas, Texas, and we really loved it. But I will say the one weird thing was that it was like so flat, and whereas here in Oregon, we definitely have a lot of texture to our landscape, and I appreciate that beauty. But the reason why everything is so green here is the rain, and the rain is really hard for me. Also, this time of year when it gets dark so early, when it's dark at like, 4:15, 4:30, and it's very dark and gloomy and rainy, that's really hard. From about October through March is really hard for me here. And I've been like, why are we still here if half the year is difficult? So I'm not sure exactly where we'll end up. We really liked Dallas. We want to visit a couple more places. But again, we feel really tied here because of our family right now. But there are some things that I will definitely miss of Oregon if or when we move. But I don't think that it's a place for us long term. What are you making for Thanksgiving? I'm making the green bean casserole, which is probably everyone's least favorite Thanksgiving dish, but that's what I'm making for Thanksgiving. My family's bringing like all the other things. We're gonna have Thanksgiving at my mom's house, and like everyone's coming. It'll be a lot of fun. So when I post this video, Thanksgiving will be tomorrow. So let me know in the comments what you're bringing for Thanksgiving, what your Thanksgiving plans are, and I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Any new Christmas traditions that you are going to do with Peter this year? I feel like he's still a little bit little to do Christmas traditions, but we are doing some different things this year than we did last year with him being like a little baby. So this year I got like a little gingerbread house set, so I'd love to try and make that with him. I'm not sure how that'll go necessarily with an 18-month-old, but it'll be some sort of experience. And then we're also planning to do Zoo Lights drive-through at the Oregon Zoo, and I paid over like $50 for a ticket for us to go through in our car to see the lights. We used to have Zoo Lights where you like just walk through it, but because of the pandemic last year, they started doing it as a drive-through. And honestly, that's more of a hit, I feel like, because in Oregon in the winter, it's cold and wet and rainy, and I would much rather just do that from my car, and I think it'd be fun for Peter too from the car. So we plan to do that, plus probably some more light displays. I'm sure he's going to love the Christmas lights this year because he was even interested in them last year. And then this year we actually are getting him some Christmas gifts. Last year we got him like a couple things that were just basically baby necessities that we are going to need anyway, but I just decided to wrap them up. So this year he has a couple fun little gifts. So I think that those are just fun little new traditions, and I'm sure we'll start more traditions as years go on, but I feel like this is kind of the last year where he's like little and maybe doesn't understand everything about Christmas, but probably by next year he'll be really understanding everything that's going on. So I'm sure that next year I'll need to come up with all the things and start some new traditions. How do you manage the haters on social media? I guess I kind of shared earlier about I at least block people if they have something mean to say. Again, I try to view it as like, you're coming into my space, and if you say something mean, then like you don't need to be here. So I feel more confident in being able to like block when that happens. But honestly, it's kind of been getting to me, and it gets to me sometimes, and that's when I know I need to take a break. So I actually recently took a break from YouTube and Instagram. I took like a week off, and it was really good to do that. And it wasn't just because of that, but I just feel like a few other reasons, and I was just like, I think I just need a break. Like, you just like know when you need time off. So I know that this unfortunately is something that comes with sharing my life online, and you get a lot of unsolicited opinions and even like mean opinions and comments with things. But I try and remind myself that people who personally know me in real life probably wouldn't say those things. So the people whose opinions I really need to listen to are like my friends and family who truly know me, and anyone else who has just something mean or nasty to say, like they don't know me and they're probably having a bad day. So I try and remind myself of that, but honestly, yeah, it is kind of hard with some of these things, especially I think as sharing some like motherhood content and finance stuff, like sharing some really personal things and things that people have a lot of opinions on. So I know that just comes with the topics that I'm sharing, but I also hate that that comes with that, because why do we just have to be like mean to each other? You guys have also probably noticed that I haven't been posting like vlogs and things, or very much, or as much stuff like with Peter. And I just feel like a lot of it comes from that, and just trying to be more mindful of like what I'm sharing on social media. And I feel bad that I haven't shared like as many vlogs. But I don't know, it's just been hard, because I feel like every time I turn on the camera, I think of like, what are these, people going to say? And the funny thing is that it's not like it's every comment is like that. In actuality, it's like a 1 out of every 50 comments, is rude. So it's so interesting how we could hear like all these like positive things and then get one negative thing and then hear that the loudest. And I know that this is a thing for a lot of people, but definitely something that I know I should be working on and focusing on, like the positive things that people have to say and like the encouragement that I receive, because it's so much, and I have so many awesome, friends of you guys who are supportive of me and my channel and my family, and I'm so grateful for that. And I just hate that there's, a few rotten apples in the bunch. Is that the phrase? I don't know exactly if that's the phrase, but yeah, I don't know. It's been hard, and that's just when I know that I need to take a step back and take a break, and then also just like feel fine to stick up for myself and block people if I need to. So anyway, I think that wraps up this Q&A. So thanks so much for hanging out with me for this Q&A. I hope that you guys have a great Thanksgiving and a great time with your family this year. Hopefully this Thanksgiving is a bit more normal, and I have a look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye.
Life is a winding road,